Well, that came about, my wife and I were traveling over in Israel, following the path of Christ. And I always did want to follow the path of Christ. So we were over there, and we got a chance to go into the Yad Vashem, the Jewish Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem. And when I went in that Jerusalem Museum, tears flooded my eyes, and I couldn't see, because Hitler had done to the Jewish people what the white people were doing to us here in America. And when I came out there and composed myself, I said, honey, we need a museum like this in America to show what has happened to black people and the freedom-loving white people who've been trying to help us ever since we've been in this country. So that's where I got the idea. That was in 1979. I kept on fooling around with the idea and trying to rent a place to put my material I had. And it took me 9 years before I was able to get a place. I opened my museum June 19th, on Juneteenth Day, 1988, on a street called Martin Luther King Drive and Wright Street. And I was in there about a year. And the thing that had me to move, that made me move, was the sisters of the Catholic order came in and gave me $1,200 check. Now I was paying $150 rent. And I was able to pay that rent because I was selling used books and charging the people to go into the back and see the museum. And it was a small place, a very small place, like 2 rooms. In the first room I had books in there that I'd collected about race relations. And in the back, I had the artifacts that I collected over the years. And I remember one time a bunch of men came in there from the halfway house, and they looked around. I heard one of them say, "What the hell they bring us in here for, all these damn books?" And I didn't say anything to them about it. But when we got through looking around in the front there in that one room, I told them, I said, listen, I said, we're going to go back here and talk some history. And I said, now, I don't want you to ask me any questions until I get through. So I started lecturing them on the museum. And that one guy doing all the raising hell about what you bringing me in here for, all these damn books, he kept it down on me all the time I was talking. And when he got through, when I got through, he said, oh, Mr. Cameron, said, I didn't know they had a place like this. And he says, this is something we needed a long time ago. And he was questioning me and asked me all kinds of questions about this and that, and I was answering him. And so that's one way I got through to those hard nuts, you might call it.
And then a few years ago, you moved into this very large and impressive space.
Yeah, well, see, first, when I got that $1,200 from the sisters, from the nuns, I paid 6 months in advance. That left me $900. That left me That left me a couple of $100 out of that $1,200. And as soon as I did that, paid all that rent in advance, $150 a month, the landlord came down and told me that they're going to have to raise the rent. He thought I was making money. And I said, why do I have to raise the rent? And he said, well, says, we just need the place, and we'd rather raise the rent and have you stay here. If not, you have to move. So I left before my 6 months up was up, before my 6 months rent paid was up. And I moved to a place on 27th and Atkinson. I was there for a whole year. And then I was lucky enough to get this place in the city for $1.
Well, that's a good deal.
Yeah. One reason was I kept bothering them so down at the city hall that they said, well, we might as well do something about it. This guy's crazy. And so they sold me the building for $1. And it's a nice building, beautiful. They had the city had used it as a warehouse.
And you have really done an extraordinary job of creating this museum.
Yes.
I wonder, now you have school children who come through here.
Oh, yes, sure.
I'm sure that there are some adults who say, this material is too strong for young children.
It's not too strong for children. It's something everybody should know. Everybody should know about it.
Why?
Because it's history. It's American history has not been told. And it's something that America would never live down.
Well, you know, and I know that you've heard the arguments. I've heard them many times myself. Those who say, you know, this is the past. It's a painful past. It has nothing to do with our future.
Yeah, that's bull. That's a lot of bull. But the thing of it is, they said, why bring that up? That's old-fashioned. That's a long time ago. Well, I said we bring it up because the white people bring up their history, and other people bring up their history, so why should we be ashamed to bring up our history? We didn't make it started like it is. The white man did that, the selfish and greedy and deceitful white man. And it wasn't the good white people, it was the deceitful people. And they were the ones that have to be pointed out that such a museum has to be done. It should be in flourishing.
I'm sure there are also some people who objected to the idea of your using the term Holocaust.
Yeah, sure, they did.
But they felt that Holocaust was a term that was solely applicable to the Jews?
Yeah, that's why they said that, but I got them straight on that. I said, look, the American Indians need the Holocaust Museum. And I said, the Jewish people aren't the only one that has the Holocaust. I said the Holocaust had come to mean the destruction of people by any means necessary.
And the estimates in terms of death through slavery for black people.
Oh, yeah, that's staggering. The figure is staggering. They used to just lynch us just to be lynching us, just to have a picnic, you know.
I understand, I read figures in terms of right after the Civil War, for decades after that, that as many as 50,000 black people were lynched after the Civil War?
Yeah, that was before the NAACP started keeping records. They didn't start keeping records until 1889, but thousands of blacks had been lynched before that.